Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? John and I are here to review the new movie Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes, it's a movie about what happens when a dentist, astrophysicist, engineer, and a baggage claims person get together and rock and roll.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like a biopic of the movie Queen, and then John was saying that Sacha Baron Cohen was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never knew that.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they had a falling out because he wanted to do a movie focusing more on the lurid details of Freddie Mercury and being flamboyant and gay and all that stuff. But that's not what the band wanted. It's like that's not what it was about. And I think he probably would have ruined it if they didn't fire him.
I think what it says might have. I don't know about that. I mean, but this is. Really good biopic about the movie Queen. It's open-ended. I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's a biopic. It starts off with Live Aid and it kind of ends with Live Aid. Well, there's a little bit more.
And that's the end of our review. Good night, folks.
Yeah. No. And, it starts off like, with the thing, and then it shows like he was a baggage claim handler and stuff like that. And he was played by a guy who was in Mr. Ro and some other comedy. I gotta look up.
He's also Night at the Museum playing the Egyptian.
I can't remember his name. I keep
Rami Malek.
Yeah, I think that's his name. But I mean, he was in a comedy show. I can't remember the comedy show. And we used to watch it. I can't remember what the hell it was, but I have to look that up. And he was. I mean, everybody was amazing in the movie. And
even the other band members look like
was fantastic.
I mean, they could act too, but they were, of course, primarily hired because they looked a lot like the other guys. But I thought they did a tremendous job too.
They could do makeup though with his. I guess that Freddie Mercury had like more incisors that gave his.
Yeah, they said 4 incisors. I always wondered about that because if you look at him, he's got that really big overbite, and which is a stereotype of British people, and. Or underbite, as they make fun of on Family Guy, too. But I always wonder about that. I wonder if, way his upper teeth were hung over his jaw. I wonder if that had something to do with his voice. And in the movie, he says, well, I got 4 extra incisors, which means I can hit a higher range of notes. And they're like, oh, if that's true, then I was right. Yeah, something the way his mouth was that helped him sing a lot better, because he had a very incredible range. I was hoping before he died that actually if he and Pat Benatar, who used to sing opera, would have done at least a duet together, if not a whole album. Having those two voices just meld together would have been fantastic. But he had to go and die.
Yeah, and it was, I don't know, he said he was born, I can't remember, Pakistani family?
Well, no, that's what they kept calling him, Packy, but he wasn't.
Yeah. It was, I can't remember.
Anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, he was on another name, and then he...
Because he kept saying, no, I'm not Packy.
Yeah. But it's a great... we grew up with the band Queen. There were so many...
Well, we didn't grow up with them.
We didn't grow up with them.
That'd been awesome.
We grew up listening to their music and stuff like that. I remember my dad got me that 8-track of Queen's Greatest Hits. That's my... I remember hearing them on the radio. So many great songs. They didn't talk about doing stuff for Flash Gordon. Though.
For you kids never heard of 8-track, that was like this big tape that you stick in the machine and it
had
play.
Like 4 channels. It was really weird. I don't know how it worked, but I mean, it had 4 channels, and then it was sometimes what would be annoying is it would have a song that cut off the middle, and then switch and try and go back to that. That was kind of annoying, though.
Yeah, and that's why I think they finally fell in favor. I had the game on there with Dragon Attack on there and other
that's
songs.
What you let me borrow. The one that had Dragon Attack, you let me borrow that for my 8-track player. Because I only had the greatest hits.
Right.
And then we heard other songs. I mean...
well, I remember roller skating in school. It might have been intramurals after school, and was it elementary school that song came out? Or another one bites dust.
And then that song played, the Don't Try Suicide song, and like, whoop, 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 whoop. I can't remember those. I have to hear that again on YouTube. They have like a censored version. Because they're doing this whole thing, YouTube music, but you can hear all these songs on YouTube regularly and stuff like that. It's just another page, trying to get into another pay service. I assume the YouTube music is paid. But you can hear a lot of that music still on YouTube. You can punch it in,
Well, I remember, I don't remember what year it was. Was it 77, 78, where there was a really bad snowstorm in this area? and they had me and my family. We lived out in the boonies, and the township told these people that lived up the road from us, "Hey, this is gonna be a bad winter. The snow's already getting bad. We're gonna not plow beyond my parents' house. They weren't gonna plow much past that. So you need to find a place to live for the next 3 months." And so they did, because they were just renting a house anyways. And it snowed so much when he finally, it was probably spring, decided to plow. They had to bring out special equipment and pile the snow on either side of the street was higher than the telephone poles. Wow. And I remember us kids playing up on there. But I remember, before it was plowed, and me and our old buddy Martin, and Jason used to hang out together when we were young, climbing up walking on the road, but you're going up a hill, and it was just such a trip trying to get up there, just trudging up that hill. And we got to talk, we started singing "We Are the Champions."
Yeah. We are the champions. And if you play "We Will Rock You" on the radio, and this has happened before, always follow up with "We Are the Champions," because sometimes they'll play "We Will Rock," and then they'll just go to another song. You have to have both songs.
Well, you don't have to. It wasn't made designed. It was one DJ that did that, and that caught on. Oh, okay. One DJ just decided to let it continue, and that became the thing. Oh, and I remember in football too, we kind of did that, and this was before it caught on everywhere, where they do the beats, but we added like an extra. We smack our thigh pads and then clap, doom 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 doom. But then we had another beat with doom 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 doom. So I remember that. That's how big of an influence Queen had. Yeah. And it was great as they do a whole variety of songs, and they even show that movie where, a guy was trying to get them to do the same stuff that they did at the first album. Well, we don't want to do that. We're Queen. We don't want to fit into one category. And if you listen to her stuff, heck, they did speed metal before speed metal was around. Stone Cold Crazy and Sheer Heart Attack were essentially proto-speed metal. Yeah. And a lot of people say that too, because they were fast pacing. So it's like, I don't think I ever heard of Stone Cold Crazy until after Metallica redid it. I went back and listened to the original. I'm like, wow, it's just as fast paced. So, okay. Then Sheer Heart Attack. Oh, that's another fast paced song. I mean, and they do like operatic stuff, like Night of the Opera. Which the record executive's like, oh, we don't want to release that as a single. It's 6 minutes. Yeah, and what the hell is this all nonsense? And he showed, it was kind of cool that he did this. He showed a lot of criticism they got of their song that it was crap. I
mean, and they could have slowed down their. I couldn't read all the.
Well, you weren't meant to, but you got the idea that critics hit it, but it's yet considered one of the classic songs, even before. Michael Myers and Dana Carvey, made it even more popular.
Well, they re-released it. They went to number one. I don't know if that's when they I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy who said, "What's this scary motion? What the heck is?" the other thing that was actually Michael Myers,
I didn't recognize him because of his beard and that. I was paying that close attention. And then I'm like, because she said, "Who's Michael Myers?" Well, don't you remember that record? Oh, that was Michael Myers.
Yeah, that was Michael Myers. And then right next to him was Laurie Strode. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. She just shows up out of the blue. Yeah. But it was pretty good because it's kind of like telling a story leading up to Live Aid. That's like Jason said. They start with Live Aid. See how he came back to it? Yeah. And then they kind of ended with Live Aid. And now, of course, they take liberties with stuff that really happened. Like I was reading an article where some of it kind of pissed off critics because it's like they made it sound like, Freddie broke up the band because he decided to do a solo album. Yeah. But meanwhile, in reality, by the time he did a solo album, the drummer Roger Taylor had already done 2. Oh, okay. So, it wasn't, that didn't break up the band. Actually, they just did a big tour before Live Aid, where in a movie they made it sound like, he broke up the band, now we got to get back together and do his live. Well, no. But even though they took liberties, as a movie's always did, and even though Roger and Brian May, the guitarist, had a lot of say over the movie, it's still worth watching, even though it's not all exactly accurate. It's still a damn good movie. It'll make you sad, stuff he goes through and the band goes through. And
I felt bad because he was lonely, though. I mean, he ended up being lonely because I never knew that. And then, I mean, you know, I don't have nothing wrong with this. So, I mean, there was 2 scenes where he kissed. I turned my head. I mean, I'm not I just don't like seeing guys kiss. Yeah. I mean, but I had nothing. I love the movie. I was fully immersed in the movie. Yeah.
And he showed like he was in love with this woman until he discovered, well, he likes guys better.
Yeah.
And now they didn't mention this, of course, because they didn't really deal with his death. He told her he was leaving all his money to her, and she said, "Oh no, don't do that. You know, we're not. You don't have to do that." And he goes, "No, in a different world, we would have been married and had a family. I have no one to leave this to, so I'm leaving you my fortune." So yeah, she inherited his fortune after he died.
I mean, it was really good. There was a part where she said, "I'm pregnant." He goes, "How could you?" It's like, and people are like, "Oh snap!" like that. I mean, when they say "oh snap," they were like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, because he's mad because he was so in love with her, thought that she would always be his, even though they weren't going to get married or anything.
And stuff like that.
And of course, he's going through some shit himself and the drugs and stuff. See, and a lot of that stuff they didn't really hide, like drugs and being gay were. But it wasn't a big focus on stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't a big focus.
Cohen wanted to make it more of a focus.
I want to be honest. I mentioned
that. But I mean, what I'm saying is Cohen wanted to make it more of the focus.
I don't think
and that's not the way to go.
I don't think that.
There's stuff that I wish they would have included that didn't. I mean, they did show some stuff like where they experiment with stuff when they recorded music. But one thing I thought was neat watching some interviews how they would use different tapes and delay. So you hear Freddie singing. It'd be recorded on the tape, and then what they do is they play it back on one machine, and then the take-up reel wouldn't be on the same machine, but another one, so it'd play a couple times, and Freddie could sing with himself in harmony. Just that kind of brilliance that they had, especially Freddie. I mean, they're all brilliant musicians, but the stuff they did like that, would have liked to see a little bit more, and they did show them fighting, call it a family, or a family. Like any family, they had their fights. They would fight over the songs, and he showed a little bit about that because everyone wants their song to make the album. They want their song to be a single, but it goes through a process where the group has to agree on. Okay, everyone has to agree that this song makes a cut. This song, like I know Brian May wishes. I forget what song became a single on the album, but he wishes his one. Was it? Year of 22 or something like that. It's about time travel. Would have made as a single. He would have loved that. And what's interesting, now they didn't bring this out, but in like interviews I saw, it's like apparently if you wrote the song, you got a little extra royalties for the song than the rest of the band. And like Roger and Brian were saying, they always try to encourage John Deacon, the bass player, to write at least one song per album to get that extra money. So they kind of took care of each other in that way as a family. And I think this part is true. They were the first ones to know that he had AIDS. He didn't tell even his family or the lady he was in love with that he had AIDS. He told them first. Even though it wasn't like in the show or in the movie where it was right before Live Aid. He wasn't diagnosed until 2 years after Live Aid. But, they did that for a more dramatic effect, and I understand why. But, but they were all close, and that's why they did this movie dedicated to him. I could see where people get pissed off the way if Freddie comes off as an asshole in some instances.
It's just fun. He was trying to be something that he wanted, but then you feel how lonely he was. He was trying to do it to fill that void. And I felt really bad for him. I loved the movie.
They showed a little bit of Live Aid too, which was kind of interesting. Sorry, my hands are getting
cool.
Move just my hand. Sorry, so just put my hand in front of the lens.
Oh, that's okay.
With my arthritis, it's hard to hold. They did show that he got sick before the show, where he was having trouble singing. Now, I don't know that had anything to do with the AIDS. I think he just was having problems. He's just sick. But they didn't show how nervous those guys were. I saw an interview with them, and they were just so nervous. And they didn't think that, I can't remember if it was Roger said, they didn't think that was their crowd at Live Aid. People aren't going to care. And they interviewed some guy that worked on the concert saying, he's saying Queen at shows before, and they were never as good as they were that night. And he said, it's called like I feel what it's called like the greatest 20-minute live performance in rock and roll history. A lot of critics have voted that because they were just nailed it. They're on in every aspect, which is rare for a band to be very, very good. And they hit it for 20 minutes, and then Freddie just had everybody eaten out of his hand, especially when they're doing Radio Gaga, to see 100,000 people clapping in unison. And then he starts doing scales, or like, hey, and then the whole crowd, goes right along with him. Yeah, and just he was able to play the crowd like that. And he didn't have any flamboyant outfits, and there was just like a really toned down act like you'd see at a bar, and yet he still had that showmanship about him that he was able to take control of the crowd. And, like one of those guys backstage at the show saying, I mean, you think of all these top rock and roll acts of the 60s and 70s, and they stole the show. It's like backstage, or when the people started hearing Queen and just how well they're doing, that there was just a silence, and everyone's like, holy shit, they just stole the show. So, they outperformed Led Zeppelin, The Who, Elton John, everybody, and they just hit everything perfect. Maybe there was some screw-ups, but that 20 minutes was just a solid performance. Now, of course, I think it took liberties, because it looked like in the movie they showed that once they started playing, all these donations came in and they saved it. But I think in reality, Bob Geldof never got the money amount that he was set out to get, I think, in reality. But in the movie, they made it seem like, because of Queen, they got the... they're taking liberties with that. So I wonder what Geldof had to say.
I'm not sure, but I mean...
But, it was just a hell of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was fantastic. And it was one where one of the things I love about movies is, if you have like a bad day or something like that, you can go to a movie, and depending on the movie, but I was fully immersed in this movie. And it's like 2 hours and 14 minutes, but it doesn't seem that long. I really got into it. I loved it. And they're talking about, they did a song. Well, they don't do the Flash Gordon stuff. If anyone wanted to see them talk about Flash Gordon or doing music for that, but they didn't do that. But they had, they did another one, Bites the Dust. And I know afterwards, I'll show you my weird sense of humor. A bunch of guys using the urinal. I was about to walk up. I knew I was going to do it in my head. I didn't do it. I was going to go, dun, 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 dun. Another one, use the bathroom. That would have been so funny.
But I was probably the only one that would have laughed.
I mean, I don't know if anyone else saw the movie. What the hell are you doing? I didn't do it, though. But I probably would have laughed.
Should have done another one, wipes his ass.
Oh, man. It was really amazing. I loved it. Full on 10 out of 10. It was a fantastic performance. I mean, and like I said, he might get nominated for an Oscar. They might do, I don't know if there'd be a makeup nomination for the way they did the dentures or something, but you never know. I mean, but it's just, it's amazing, and it had lots of humor in it, too. I didn't know Freddie Mercury had all those kitties, too. Had all those cats, too, and it's like, don't judge me. And then, do you think you do better? Cats just look at him and say, everyone's a critic. But I mean, that's fine. I was like, oh, Maggie. And none of them look like Maggie at all, but that's just the way my humor is. But I loved it. And then we saw like the Clint Eastwood movie called The Mule. Saw a trailer. That looks really good too. That might be a sad one too, but cool. That looks really good too. But there's so much good stuff out there, and you only see so much.
All right.
I didn't know Suspiria was playing down there.
Yeah.
I mean, but we might. I don't know if further off seen on Amazon or what. I don't know.
If you don't know who Bob Geldof is, that organized Live Aid, he used to be in his band was Boomtown Rats.
Yeah.
People probably don't know that. Well, you know what I Don't Like Mondays is about? A school shooter back.
Really?
Yeah, decades ago. This girl opened up and started shooting kids at the school across the street. When she was arrested, they asked her why she did it. She goes, I don't like Mondays.
Oh, wow.
And wherever Bob was at the time, came through on a fax or something. I think he was at a police station for something. I don't remember what he said. And he saw that come through, and so he wrote a song about that whole incident.
Why'd this get demonetized? I mean, I don't mind you talking about why'd you get demonetized, but that's all right. That's fine.
Yeah.
Man, because YouTube is really picky. But no, I don't mind you mentioning.
But that's just kind of interesting behind the scenes.
It is interesting.
It's like, well, another behind the scenes I almost forgot to mention.
We always talk normally.
Is Now I don't. There's a song they have. I don't know if you ever heard called "Death on Two Legs."
Huh.
And it was a slam against one of their managers that was dicking them over for a number of years. And they finally got rid of him. And yeah, the song Death on Two Legs is about that guy.
Wow.
I'll have to play that one for you later.
Yeah, that sounds cool. What else was I going to say?
And yeah, they're just so talented. When they showed like a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody, that the chorus, that part, the chorus.
Yeah. That'd be tough.
They spent 8 hours a day for 12 weeks working on just that part of the song. Most record albums, the whole album, bands only spend 12 weeks on.
Yeah.
So they did that on one section of one song.
Oh, that'd drive me nuts.
Yeah, but, they want to get it. And that was before they started using synthesizers. They used to even brag about that, and not using synthesizers, and what they would just layer the music. As you kind of saw a little bit where, they would layer the Galileos, they would layer that. Brian May used to layer his guitar tracks. They might have like 32 layers of guitars on there to get that epic sound and stuff. But yeah, it was kind of neat.
Yeah, but like I said, we grew up listening to this music, and it's fascinating. Seeing it, I mean, there might be more rock biopics coming out. It's supposed to be, you said Rocket Band's more fantasy about.
Yeah, that's what they said. It's like based on true fantasy or something like that. So not really.
That's coming out of summer. I don't know if that'd be hit, but I think Bohemian Rhapsody would be a big hit, and there might be more biopics coming out in the future. It seemed like there was something else. They don't talk about. At the ending credits, they talk more about him, and then there's a live performance. People were leaving during the live performance. I was kind of weird. People were getting up and leaving. There was like a live performance, and the one thing when the credits were rolling up. And then when the credits were over, it said Thanos will return. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, that's weird. I know. Well, he snapped his fingers and Freddie died.
I know.
And then John Deacon retired. Yeah, that's another thing. I was seeing interviews with Roger and Brian. I guess John Deacon was so distraught after Freddie died that
I can imagine that.
He, because they were like a family, that he ended up retiring from the music business, and they said they wish he would have retired because he's such a talented writer and musician that they wish they would have stuck with it, because those guys continue to make music. Well, and they have different versions of Queen with the different singers. One I never heard till they put in. They were touring with Paul Rogers from Free and what was his other brands, Bad Company, and the one he did with Jimmy Page. Now brain farting on the name. But anyways, I didn't know that they were touring together. Then he put out an album, which is a really good album. Then he quit playing together. Yeah. But there's rumors that they might get back together with Paul Rogers, and which is great because it sounds, the album, the Cosmos, sounds like Queen and Paul Rogers. So you hear a little bit of Bad Company and Free and a little bit of Queen all kind of mixed together, and there's some brilliant songs. I don't know if you ever heard any of that stuff.
I don't think I probably have, but it's.
I don't know if they even played any of it on the radio.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I.
But I've got the album. It was really good. Of course, you can't see Paul's. He can't sing some of the songs of Freddie's, but.
Well, they were talking about, like you said, the thing with his teeth, he'd been able to sing it in such a unique way. It reminded me of Black Sabbath. I think Tony Iommi, the guitar player, I think he cut off part of his fingertips in a
industrial accident.
Yeah, and then that's the way he was able to play.
Yeah, he had to put these plastic tips
all
over his fingers, and then he had to play slower, and so because he's playing slower and create a specific sound for heavy metal, and they said credited Black Sabbath as creating the heavy metal sound. And it was just because he had an industrial accident where he got injured at work, and so he had to take it a little easier and had to have these little plastic tips on the end of his fingers to just be able to play the guitar. But yeah, a little extra trivia for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna make me a good, better YouTuber. I ain't gonna cut my fingers. But I mean, I was fully immersed in the film.
It was really good.
I loved it. I mean, like I said, I turned my head. By me, I'm not anti. I mean, I just don't like seeing guys kiss. That's all. I don't know how bad it was. You know what I mean? Oh, and then I remember now that when they do the Under Pressure, the thing with Freddie Mercury and David Bowie, doesn't it drive you crazy sometimes? And then you hear that and you think you're gonna have, and then you hear the Vanilla Ice version.
Yeah.
But then I got a lap dance to the Vanilla Ice version of this one strip club.
Not for me.
Yeah, no. Not from some hot chick along, and that's before. No, that was before cops raided the place. I think they raided it or something like that, or shut it down.
Raid.
That was but I can't remember. It was on Haight Street in North Carolina. And the cops were all over the place. I was surprised
they didn't like the street.
Yeah, that's what they called it. I can't remember what bar was called. The Bodega Bar, or was that in Germany? I can't remember. I don't know. But I mean, that should show you something else weird about me. But it's okay. But I mean, it was. I loved the movie real well, and I guess that's about it.
Yeah, I think I said everything I could think of.
I mean, but we grew up with this kind of music and we loved it.
Yeah, and that's what I like. Like you said, they have a wide range. They do the operatic stuff, speed metal, hard rock. They have fun, and they showed a movie where they didn't want to be this, just do the same crap. And it was kind of exciting. Yeah, they have a lot of songs that are similar, but they also want to have a variety of styles. Yeah. It's kind of interesting when bands do that.
Yeah, I loved it. I try a variety of things: food reviews, drink reviews, movie reviews, weather reports, TV reviews, and stuff like that on my channel. But
review reviews.
Yeah. So I love the movie. Full on 10 out of 10. So I guess that's it for me and my buddy John. So until next time, everybody, please wait a second. Remember, we are the champions by Legion.
Rock on.
There you go. That's how I want to end it. Almost screwed that up.